If someone served this to me in a restaurant, I would not be mad. I would actually be really happy. Hello everyone and welcome back to the You Wanna Bite kitchen. Today we are making taquitos. When I think of taquitos, I either think of a fried food that I would probably get as like an appetizer or something at a Mexican restaurant, or I also think of frozen food that I would probably bake up in my toaster oven, but I usually try and stay away from frozen foods like that. So what I want to do today is make a batch of taquitos and fry half of them and bake half of them and figure out what method is the best. So let's go ahead and just get started. What you're going to need for today's recipe is chicken, tortillas, shredded cheese, cream cheese, limes, green onions, chipotles or something spicy, oil, and whatever you want to top these with. These are pretty easy to come together and they're also pretty customizable with whatever you want to put inside. But for today, I'm going to be using a rotisserie chicken just because it's really easy and makes everything just a lot quicker. But you could definitely bake or boil your own chicken, and in terms of baking, then you have the ability to season it however you want, so that's also a really great option. You're going to need about 2 cups of shredded chicken, so I'm just using 2 forks to do that, and then I've got everything measured and ready to combine everything to make our taquito filling. So I'm going to start off by microwaving 4 ounces of cream cheese just to get it soft, that way it's easier to mix. Combine your 4 ounces of cream cheese, 1 cup of shredded Mexican blend cheese, a tablespoon of chopped scallions, a tablespoon of chili paste, and juice from 1 lime. Mix everything up and then give it a taste. It's not like making meatballs where you have to wait until everything's already cooked or fried up to find out if you've done everything right. Your chicken's cooked so you can taste it and find out if this is missing anything. I'm using this ancho chipotle pepper paste that I found at my local store, but if you can't find something like this or just want to use something you already have, chili powder would work just as well to spice this up, and you can add whatever amount that suits your comfortability. Is that a word? Since I used rotisserie chicken, the chicken itself wasn't really seasoned, so I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic powder and cumin to this, and of course salt to taste. So I think we are ready to assemble our taquitos now. Today I'm going to be using flour tortillas just because that's what I have, but you can totally use corn tortillas if you prefer that, or for my gluten-free friends, you can use those. Tortillas I'm using today are about the size of my hand. Not that that helps with anyone's frame of reference unless you know how big my hand is. All I will say is that they're not the little tiny street taco size, and they're obviously not the burrito size. Scoop out about 1/4 cup of your filling and then put that towards one side of the tortilla. Just fold it over and roll it up. Since I'm going to be testing out 2 different methods of making taquitos today, baking versus frying, I'm going to be using toothpicks for the ones that I'm frying to make sure they don't fall apart. But if you're baking them, you can just put them seam side down on your baking tray and they'll stick together. I'm going to just spray them with a little bit of olive oil and let those bake up for about 12 to 15 minutes in a 425-degree oven until they're crispy and brown. Since I'm going to be shallow frying half of mine, they are going to be touching the bottom of the pan, so I'm going to go with a medium-low heat for my oil. But if you're going to be deep frying them, you could aim for about 350, and they'll fry for about 2 minutes on each side. And once they're golden and crispy, you're going to put them on either a paper towel or a wire rack so they can drain. Once they're all baked up or fried and have had some time to cool off, you can plate them up. And please remember to take out the toothpicks. You can do a homemade salsa, or a little pico de gallo would be really good, or you could totally eat them plain. But honestly, these 2 are some of my favorites, and I think they're gonna be really good on here. I've got chipotle ranch and an avocado salsa. Admittedly, I am a little bit extra, or a lot bit extra. I like my food to look as good as it tastes, so I'm going to drizzle a little bit of each on both my baked and my fried batches. I'm going to also add on a scoop of guacamole and crumble on some extra red and green onions and cotija cheese. It's my favorite time of day. It's time to taste what I've made. So the taquitos are all done, the baked batch is all finished, and so are the fried ones. The coolest thing about this is that there are 2 ways to make them, and one way is a little bit healthier than the other. Let's find out if the baked or the fried ones worked out better. I'm not sure I'm ever going to be comfortable with eating on camera. I might be a little bit biased because I made these, but honestly, I would pay money for these in a restaurant. Should I eat another one? I always just say I'm gonna eat one and then I finish it and I look at all the pile here and I'm like, when comparing the baked versus the fried versions, they're actually a lot more similar than I thought. Maybe it's because I didn't deep fry them, I kind of shallow fried them, but they're actually pretty similar on level of crispiness, which is where I thought it was gonna be really different. So if you find yourself feeling a little bit health conscious or whatever, I don't find myself being afraid of a little oil now and then, but when it comes to something like this where the end result is really similar, I would probably end up choosing to bake them over fry them. Next time I think I would even try using a corn tortilla because they're of course a little bit thinner than a flour tortilla. I think in terms of baking, the corn tortillas would actually get even crispier than the ones I used today. As always, thank you so much for watching today's video. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos, and leave me a comment letting me know if you want a bite of these taquitos. There's not as many here as there once was because I wanted a bite of every single one.